I want to bring up Teri, and I'm also going to bring up a guy from Georgia. See if I can get him up here. His name's Phil. Now, before I get them up really quick, just so you know, I have multifamily mentors. These are guys that all are multimillionaires. They're real estate retired. They teach people how to buy multifamily properties. That's 5 units on up. They take folks by the hand and walk them through every step. Also, we have something called operations consultants. And what operations consultants are is ladies with 30 plus years experience in the industry, ran thousands of units of properties. Now, we bring them into lifestyles a little bit different than the mentors. The mentors are folks like me that sat in the chairs just like you, became multimillionaires, listened to what Dell taught us, and following that map. Operation consultants are ladies that ran thousands of units in the industry, because it's one thing for my mentor to walk you through a deal. Here's the keys, now what? How do I set up my bookwork? How do I do a lease file audit? You know, what software do I use for this property? I don't understand fair housing. How do I do an eviction? What is a pauper's affidavit? That's where they come in. Dell brought in these experts. And you know what he does, these ladies? When he first brings them on board to make sure they're going to be a good fit with lifestyles, he makes them sit through the same seminar I'm going to teach you guys this weekend. And that's what I'm going to start with, because actually one of these ladies is Teri. And when she came to Lifestyles, how much real estate did you have?
None, other than my own home.
Right. So you came in here without that.
Yep.
And Phil, what about you when you first came to Lifestyles? What do you do for a living?
I've been in IT. Surprise, surprise. I think I'm in good company from the number of hands I saw.
Oh, and he's from Athens, Georgia, if you notice the accent.
Yeah, that's the accent. No, I had nothing except the house that we lived in, just like Teri. Yeah.
Okay, and you both have unique stories. So I want to certain aspects I want to pull out of you, because we have people from all across America watching. And I know, you live in Dallas now, but when you first joined Lifestyles, where did you live?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you started investing where?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so those of you who are thinking about investing across state lines, what's that like? You bought one house that way, correct?
6.
6 houses.
Yeah.
While living in Missouri.
Yes.
So can it be done across state lines? Yes. So I want to make sure we bring that aspect out, that you can do it across state lines.
Oh yeah, no question. I think the whole, live where you want to live and invest where it makes sense. That was the conclusion I came to years ago when I joined, and it was very clear at the time that buying houses in Dallas right at that point in time, it was a no-brainer. And just all of the support we had with the team on the ground here, with the mentors, the vendors, it was all, I didn't even set foot in any of these houses. I bought my first 6 without setting foot in them.
Give him a hand, because that's good. Sort of like those other 2 right there. They did the same thing.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, right on.
So,
Exactly.
although they don't have the cool accent.
Oh, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. Very exotic.
So Teri, when you came to Lifestyles, like I said, you came a different way. It was because you have how many years in the industry? Kind of give them an idea what experience you have.
Well, I was 12 years old, and I started in the 80s, early 80s. And I've got over 40 years of experience in the industry. And it was really interesting working so hard in the industry all these years. And it was a great industry, great for my family and everything. And then I had the opportunity, thank God, to come here and work for Lifestyles. And then I realized how mad I was, because I made a lot of money for a lot of people and not for me.
So what happened was she went through a seminar. Dell taught your seminar, correct?
No, David out of Houston.
Okay,
Yeah.
the other David. Okay, so she went through a seminar, and on Sunday when we started teaching multifamily, it happens to everybody who's in the industry comes to the seminar when I teach it. What was your feeling? Because you didn't know you made that much money for your bosses, right?
You look back at what your salary was, and you look at those bonuses they give you and your commissions. That's a racket. We worked our heinies off for bonuses and salaries, and these people walked away with millions. Millions.
But you got your nails done.
No.
Oh, well, they give you a bonus.
I was too busy picking up trash on the property.
There you go.
Doing what needed to be done. So it's very frustrating once you know the other side. And because of that, it really motivated me to get off my duff and start investing. So I started here October of 2011, and by March of 2012, I was a passive investor.
Give her a hand. She's like, let me be on the side where you make money side.
Yeah,
That's good.
and then it's just like potato chips. Once you get one, you want another one, you want another one, and then I branched off and did some single family because I mentor people a lot on landlord-tenant laws and multifamily, but then I had a lot of people who had single family who would come to me, and I thought, well, if I'm going to talk to them, I need to understand it. So I sat down with Rick
So
Johnson.
she's used to buying these big apartments. Now let me do some houses.
Yeah, so I sat down with a mentor, single family Rick Johnson, and I went through the education and the whole steps, and I started buying single family. And then now I have 7 doors that I self-manage as well.
So you walk the walk and talk the talk.
Absolutely,
There you
because
go.
I got to know what I'm
Teaching
teaching
others.
people to do.
Awesome.
So like once again, they're like potato chips, and then you got to stop because you can keep doing that, or you take another path, and that's why we decided to go.
So you both bought houses. You both invest in apartments with other people, correct?
Yeah.
So really quick, before we get into the apartment you guys bought together, as a team, when you invested in these apartments, were they all in this Dallas area? Because you both live in Dallas, right?
Yes. Well, he's north of town in Prosper, and I'm in Arlington, so
Right.
DFW.
Well, my point is we have people watching from all across America.
No, I didn't just stay in Dallas.
So guys, there's something called a passive investor. So there's something called an IRO. I mentioned that earlier. That's an independent rental owner. That's where you buy an apartment by yourself. Their IROs, they're going to talk about apartments they bought together as a team, right? Then we have something called a lead investor. This is a guy who puts a deal together, but he brings in other people to go along to ride with him, and they make a great rate of return. Those people are called passive partners. So most of the people that are in this room that raised their hand earlier, I said, who's invested in apartments? They raised their hand. As a passive partner, you're not running it. You're not doing the day-to-day. The lead investor is involved with that. He's running his team of people. You're just putting money in and making a great rate of return. Our goal in apartments, we want to make about an 8% return annualized once it's stabilized and running well. And every 2 to 3 years, double your money. Who likes that idea? So what they did first was before they bought their own, they're like, hey, let's see how this goes. And they invested. And what I'm trying to bring up to you guys is, they might put 25 grand in this deal or 50 grand in this deal or 100 grand in this deal. You don't have to be there at the properties. They're going to run, the lead's going to handle that. So I just want to see what areas, were they all here in Dallas, or let's start with Phil. What areas of the country did you invest in?
Yeah, so when I started multifamily passive investing, it was here in Dallas. And then over time, we started seeing opportunities opening up all over the country. So I've currently got investments here, other parts of Texas, down south, out east, Arizona, Indiana. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go through all your investments because I know you're in
Yeah.
a bunch of them now.
Yep.
I just want to show off a little bit because I don't know your numbers, but your biggest rate of return, not how much you invested.
Biggest rate of return?
Did you make like a 40% or 100%? What is your biggest rate of return out of any of your deals?
So far, I think the best one was 122%.
Okay. Would you be
Yeah.
happy with that?
I was quite happy.
Who would
with
be
that.
happy with 122%?
Especially being passive and doing
You
absolutely
did nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your biggest one?
I was in the same deal.
Oh, the same deal. You both like that deal. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys like have a lot in common. You go in the same deals together and everything.
Well,
Yeah.
he
We
was in
crossed
Missouri.
paths a few times.
Yeah, I grew up in Missouri. He lived
Yeah.
in Missouri.
Oh, okay.
We kind of bonded over that. And
The coolest thing with hers,
Yeah.
I like Volkswagens and her husband likes Volkswagens.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
But my investments have been in Dallas because that was a comfort zone.
That
when
was
I
your
first
comfort,
started,
okay.
And then I branched out, and now I'm in Arizona. I'm not in Indiana. I didn't get in that deal.
Okay.
Darn it! I know. I didn't have any cash at the
Okay.
time, but it's been great because I do nothing but ACH.
And I just want to prove a point to y'all. Well, maybe not true with her. We'll see. Your deal in Arizona, did you actually go and physically go out to the property?
Absolutely not.
Yay! Did you go to yours?
I only saw it in March when I went to Arizona. To
See, I knew she would go out there.
I did.
'Cause
I
knew
was
she-
out there.
Some people are very conservative. They
But I
got
was
to
there- I
they
was
got to
there for
see
work.
it. And when you drove by and you looked at it and you go, I own all the toilet seats. You understand?
Yeah.
Because she owns a part of it.
But I went out there in March to drive 30 some odd properties for all the members.
Oh, because you were helping everybody.
So I did a round and
It was a work gig.
It was a work
There you
gig.
go.
Yeah, really
Cool.
tough. And I got to see the 2 properties.
Cool.
And it was like, wow, And, and I was calling my lead and telling him how nice they looked and
Okay.
what I would do different.
Okay.
But that's okay. I try to be very quiet.
What I love
passive.
about Teri is she's a tough love person. Once you want somebody who's going to help you run your property be tough love to you, like that sucks. You need to do it better. That's what I want to hear, right? So because I ask her advice all the time. So somehow you guys decide you wanted to buy a property together now, right?
Yeah.
So-
We were talking about it for a year or so and just kind of went back and forth. It was just kind of an idea we were playing with. And then one day, I'd sort of started getting prepared, talking to lenders and all that kind of thing. And this deal kind of came our way. Another member had dropped out of it. And so we had an opportunity to buy it. I said, hey, Teri, you want to jump on this thing? It's pretty close to where Teri lives, not so close to me.
So another member
Yeah.
looked at the deal. It wasn't right for them. They got scared,
Yeah.
whatever, and
Yeah.
became an opportunity for you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was a little more of a heavy lift than they were probably ready for,
But
but I've done them forever, so it was no
okay,
big deal.
cool. Okay, so it was a good fit for y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, why did you join Lifestyles? Sorry, I don't follow the slides well.
For me. Yeah, I think like a lot of people, and I think a lot of IT people can probably relate, over time, you work in that industry for a while, and a lot of us are kind of looking for a way to kind of slow it down, back away from that. So I was really looking for something to just change my direction. And so I was inspired to research and learn about real estate. I found Lifestyles online originally, started watching case studies, just like we're doing right now, and going through them and thinking like, wow, these returns that people are getting, is this really true? Because I'm a little skeptical.
Cool.
I had been involved in some flips and stuff in the past, and
Don't ever say that in front of me. He just used the F word.
That's the F word. Yeah, a couple of those and pretty mixed results, and basically way more trouble than it was worth. So I was kind of a little skeptical at first, but again, that third point there, I knew and I could see that real estate was making a lot of people wealthy. So there had to be a way to do it right, and
Okay.
we found it.
Cool. All right.
And I was just extremely lucky. Been in the industry a long time, sold the last property in the state of Texas for the company I worked for, took a year off, got my real estate license, and Christine out of the Houston office was looking for someone to fill the role in this office and sent me the job description, and I'm like, that sounds like fun. And it was all the love and the fun of the business I had without
Dealing with residents.
dealing with residents
Yeah.
or boots on the ground. So it was just perfect, and it was perfect at the time in my life that I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me the opportunity to do things that I would have never had a chance to
Wouldn't
do.
that be a cool job? You worked all this way and people yelling at you every day, and then you work within the same industry where everybody thanks you every day and say you're the most wonderful person in the world, and you walk on water because you help them all make millions of dollars.
Yeah, so
kinda
y'all
cool.
are it's wonderful to work with the members. So it
Yeah.
takes the love of the job and the business that I liked and
Mm-hmm.
took it to another level to help everybody else do it and take it to their level too. So it's been very rewarding for me.
Yeah,
Very.
we appreciate you because your experience. You came in. So here we're talking about. Where's this place? It's not in Arizona.
Oh, cute little property in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Who knows where Grand Prairie is?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all do. Okay, cool.
So this little property was 15 minutes from my house. That's what Phil was talking about.
And side note, my very first single family property was right there in Grand Prairie too. So
Oh, okay.
Back in,
I was familiar with it.
Yep.
So between the two of you, you had to come with $247,000. So did that come from your 401k, or where did you guys get your money from?
I was in a 1031 exchange, which
Okay.
I know, Dave, you'll talk about
I'll
that.
break that up. It's basically, in simple English, it's when you take the profits from this property, you roll in the next property and pay no taxes. Remember I told you pay no taxes? He was in the process of, I didn't want to pay taxes. He sold a property, I take it.
Yeah, I was looking to defer that tax burden, and I had a house that I'd bought. It was the third house I'd bought back from when I was living in St. Louis, and it was about $12K out of pocket.
Okay,
Well,
I'm going to write this down so you guys
okay.
understand where this number comes.
this is some
So
good
remember
math.
how it's the money you put down to buy the property? So he started to buy this thing. His money was $12K.
Yeah. So I had one tenant in there for 6.5 years. It cash flowed like crazy. It was a really great deal. And I sold it and came out the other end with $123,000 and something that I needed to place.
Who would like to turn $12K into $123K? I know I put a minus, but it's.
And how
you
long
get
did
one.
it take you to get that?
I'd had that property for 6.5 years.
Well, does that sound pretty good? Like your 401k? No?
Wrong K.
Oh.
So yeah, so I was like, wow, cool return. I'm pretty happy with that.
So that's how you came up with your money, right?
Yeah, but then I realized, okay, let's do a 1031 exchange because I don't want to pay
Because
the taxes.
think about it, your difference between here and here, you know what I mean? It's going to be, well,
Yeah.
basis and all that, but
Yeah.
okay.
So, so I was looking to get into a deal, and I was like, this property kind of came on the radar at the right
Okay.
time, and we got talking about it. So I'm like, Teri, let's partner on this. So I'll bring my money in from the exchange, and
You put up some cash then?
Well, I didn't
Terry.
have that.
Oh,
But sadly, and a nice thing, is I inherited my parents' house.
okay.
My sister and I inherited that, and I bought her out. So I owned their house free and clear, and I did a refi cash out on that puppy to bring in my cash. And
So-
that was
so she-
tax-free.
Yeah, think about it. She owned it all cash. She inherited it. She took a loan against it, and since you pull it out through a loan, there's no taxes. It's not a sale.
So we had to match our money coming in because of his 1031 exchange.
So, yeah.
Penny, dime, nickel. It had to be.
Yeah.
You both put it
50-50.
50-50.
Yes.
So
there-
you pretty much own this property 50-50. Okay.
that's well, that was our goal from the get-go. Is
Okay.
every single
That's
aspect
fair
of
then,
this
yeah.
is just going to be right down the middle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's really now you got to realize they put up 250 between themselves. So sometimes we have small partnerships where each person puts in 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever. But we also have where people will be lead and passives. And just so you know, you say, well, I don't have $1 million. I don't have $2 million. Can you come up with 25K? Who can come up with 25K? So the lowest investor in these deals is typically going to be at least 25K. I want you to have a real number there so you get involved. Don't think it's just millionaires and billionaires doing this stuff.
Now, this was a cool little property. We actually started looking at it March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what hit?
Yeah, the timing was interesting.
Sweet. Yeah. So we
See,
were
they
like-
like COVID just like me.
Yeah, so we're just sitting here going, oh, heck. Okay, so we stepped back.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, this is not going to fly. Nothing's going to happen. And then the lender came back
Yeah,
to
it
us.
was crazy because at that time, it was right in that period where things got really
Scary, yeah,
uncertain.
that's right
No one
there.
knew what was going on, and our attorney said, hey, I just went to a closing, and the bank just walked. Like, they had loan commitment and everything, and they're like, we're not doing the loan. And we're like, okay, we better sit tight for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we did, and then we re-engaged with the seller a month or so later and got the ball rolling after that. Once everyone kind of figured out, okay, what's going on.
See, everybody panicked when it first came out, right?
Big
And then
hiccup.
we said, no, we can make money. We love COVID. Who's with me?
It was great.
Do you know it's coming back again, right?
Yeah.
Who's ready to get their masks on? I don't see anybody with masks on today.
But it was interesting that the lender came back to us.
Oh, the
Because
same lender.
He saw
Yeah.
the potential in
Okay.
the deal, and it was a small bank.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know.
Just
Okay.
a small local bank in Prosper,
His
actually.
banker.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
developed a relationship with the bank president, and that gave us another avenue of.
Yeah, he came
Maybe.
back out of the blue. He's like, dude, are you going to move on this thing or what? I mean,
Good.
we want to do this loan.
It was
We
the
were their
accent,
fir-
I'm telling
we were
you.
their first multifamily loan at that bank.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
And
It's
they've
all about
done more.
relationships.
They've done more for some members since then too.
Okay, cool. So all this number's gobbledygook to the new people, but I just want to show you one number that should stick out to everybody in this room during COVID. How much are they making a year? 19%, really? Tax-free?
Yeah.
Who'd be okay with that? So you guys are big spenders. Did you blow all that 90% a year?
We
I know how frugal
actually-
they are. 'Cause I,
we made a deal when we bought it. We're like, we're just not going to spend a dime. So we just
Never
we
have.
had our operating account with the bank and just let the rents come in, and we just
didn't need
we
it.
just didn't.
so
we
does
didn't
that
touch
make
it.
sense if you're conservative? They're saying instead of spending the money, which they could have, they said, let's just build it up for the next deal.
Yeah.
Who's okay with that?
Well, we did that, and then we decided, we were going to sell it, and then it didn't look like it would sell, and we were like, oh, what the heck? So we put new roofs on it and
Okay.
redid the parking
Spruce up a
lot
little.
because we didn't have to sell it.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
didn't have
You were
to.
thinking about,
Yeah, we
yeah,
were-
you make it 20%.
We were
yeah.
actually in a
Sweet
position.
position.
Who'd be
where
okay? It's
we'd
like
just go
buying
either way.
it's like buying a bond that yields 20% tax free. Who'd be okay with that? That might be something you just keep by yourself and not even have a partner on. There's nothing wrong with that.
So we never took a dime out. Actually, I've followed Dell's
Hmm.
model of never spending a dime of the money.
Yeah.
And that's always been what I've done. But
Don't
my
eat your
single-
seed corn.
None. I've never spent.
That's another guy.
I have never spent a dime of my single family money or my multifamily passive money on anything other than my
So you live
properties.
frugal so you could build the wealth
Yes.
part. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's choice. And you sold it in 2023 in August. That's kind of recent.
Last
Yeah.
month.
Last month.
Last month.
So is this a recent deal, guys?
Yeah.
Do you want to see what they made? Or should we skip that? No, you want to get to that? Okay. Well, here's some before and after.
Yeah, it was actually, I guess, a textbook deal in the sense that we essentially bought the property from not a very good operator. Let's just
No.
put it that way.
They
It
made
was
mom
in-
and pops look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll teach you about mom and pops this weekend.
So when
That
Terry
was
talked
bad.
about a heavy lift, it was, like a pretty comprehensive renovation inside and out.
Okay.
And it was during the supply chain issues.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah?
that was a lot of fun.
So
Appliances,
trying to find
materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hauling appliances for every unit, and we would buy them in groups as we would
Yeah,
turn
we were
the
just
units
out getting them wherever we
and
could
getting
find
them to
them.
the contractor. I was even going out to out past Tyler to Longview to find microwaves.
Oh, wow, yeah, I have property out there.
Yeah, so it was a challenge, but we got through it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it didn't slow us down, and we did our rehab in 1 year and 1 week.
See, they all
12
get stuck in
units.
rehab.
Always in
Told you
rehab.
We were
in
stuck
rehab.
in rehab for a whole year.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
We got through it.
Kept your teeth, though, right?
It was awesome.
All right.
It was fun to watch.
Here's some before and afters. Okay. Actually, that's not that ugly.
No, they weren't that
No,
bad.
that's
we were
not-
able,
No,
we,
it
we were
wasn't
able to keep
terrible.
the cabinets and
Yeah.
That-
You know.
Is that Terry's hand?
Yes.
Is that-
I think it
actually
is.
that is my hand.
Is that your
yes.
hand?
Yeah,
we
it
get
is.
good pictures here. There's
I
Terry's hand.
recognize the shirt. That
She
is
was-
my hand talking about that ugly sign.
Yeah. So we did a little rebranding and just tidied that up and just,
Okay.
kind of tweaked everything.
So, I'll teach you what all these numbers mean this weekend. But if you're new, the numbers that matter the most is the bottom line. That's an annualized rate of return. So if you notice, the first year, they're only making a 5% return. Now, why is that? Because they have bad people in there? Well, maybe not bad. Financially disenfranchised Democrats.
I did have
No?
Mabel. I did have a Mabel living there.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Can't say that.
It
Right?
was an interesting mix. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to turn over people and stuff like that, fix up units. So you're not going to get super returns the first year as you're fixing it up. Does that make sense logically? But then by second year, 16. By third year, that 19% return. Who'd be okay with that? Heck, in today's environment, I'd be okay with the 5%. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? But what you're going to learn this weekend is there's something called forced depreciation. Okay? If we can raise the amount of income this property makes, it increases the value of a property. And I will teach you about that, something called cap rate and all that. You don't need to know about that right now. But just know, if you make something put out more money, it's worth more money. Simple English. So what did that do to you? This is the bottom line right here. Your total cash out of pocket is on the top here. It was $247,000. So the key to this, guys, is the way we run our numbers here is, hey, you got to pay off the loan. You got to give yourself your initial amount you invested in, right? Because I don't talk about the amount of profit until you give me back my money. And then this is what it was above that, okay? So that comes out to 153.8%. That's type B right there. Instead of 154, he wrote 153.8. I'll bet you did the slide and not her.
Maybe.
Who understands the engineer IT type, right?
I use spreadsheets.
I
a
would have
little bit.
rounded it up. Absolutely.
Yes, I know the personalities.
Yeah.
So in simple English, break this down. If they put 100K in the deal, what would they get back?
You'd get that back plus 153,800.
See, I knew he could do the math. He's not an Aggie, obviously,
That's why
or a
he
Baylor
does the
Bear.
that's why he's the numbers guy, and I'm the one that operates the property.
Yeah, she was the enforcer and I was the office.
Oh,
Yeah.
good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, he would do all the marketing and all of the IT and all of the
Do you like how they use each other's
books.
skill sets?
books. He does
Yeah.
all the things I get itchy about and don't like, and then I do all the things he doesn't like, which is dealing with the residents and the rehab. And he likes rehab too, but
see-
I got all the fun stuff.
The only bad thing is now that you sold it, you have to pay taxes because you just sold this, right?
No, sir,
No.
Why
No,
don't you
sir.
pay taxes?
because we're
Another
doing it.
1031.
We're 1031 into something
you-
else.
So they're 1031 into another multifamily property. So what we're going to learn this weekend about taxes is I teach you this: defer, defer, defer until you die. Do you like that idea? In other words, you keep kicking a can down the road, you never pay taxes. Now they can do refi on the next property, pull money out, tax-free because it's a loan. It's not a sale. So that's what they do. They defer to the next deal, and then they can do a loan, pull money out, not pay taxes, keep deferring down the road. Right?
That's the
Absolutely.
plan.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a good plan, guys? Who wants to buy some apartments now? Pretty exciting, right? You just buy one little one by yourself or whatever. That's called an IRO. That's what I want someone to do in the room that was just
Yeah.
up here a little few
It's
minutes
a whole
ago.
lot of fun, guys.
So now, let's take some questions. Anybody have questions for these folks?
Yeah, Leo.
So on that, y'all have, like, with that return of capital and then that total cash and equity, you add those two together, and that's like what you got to trade up into to something, I mean, like a down payment for the next.
Okay, Leo's trying to ask an advanced question, but totally wrong. So I will redo
He's
his
asking about-
sentence
he's-
into a logic. If you're going to do a 1031, it's like in kind, called real estate to real estate. They must buy their next property for $1 more than what they sold it for, or multiple properties. Does that help you? That was a much better way, whoever restated that. Oh, that was
So
me.
we had to go $1.3 million and $1 to satisfy that.
And you could buy more than one
Less
property.
closing costs.
Less
Yeah.
closing costs.
Right.
You don't want
Net
to have any
proceeds.
boots in it.
Yes, we could get into boot, and I could get into all that, but that's too advanced. Thank you, Leo. You have a question, sir?
Yeah, looking at your down payment, I was curious about the lending terms. Did you get like 70% leverage?
Okay, so the
Yes.
question was, what was your loan to value that the bank offered on a small property like that? It's a very good question.
Well, they were going to give us up to 80%, which I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But we had to place our money, so we actually took lower leverage on purpose to get the
Because it's 1031s.
get the loan. Yeah, because we just didn't need to.
You can leverage for less if you wish
yeah,
to.
yeah. So and then it was like a 4.5%.
And typically on small properties like this, it's going to typically be 25% down,
And
plus
see,
some called post-acquisition liquidity of 10 to 15%, but that's
and
a
we
little
did a
more
little different on our loan. At that time, that you could get lower interest rates. But we had our business plan that we had, and so we looked at the terms that we were offered, and we ended up paying a little bit more of interest to get favorable terms. Like we had a 5-year loan that we could get out anytime with no penalty.
No penalties. That was with the small
Interest
bank.
only
Yeah.
for 15 months.
Yeah, the first 15 months was IO.
And then they financed our rehab, and as we would use it, we would draw it. Well, we only drew out the first couple apartments or so until we
Yeah.
had enough money coming in that we started paying it out of our pocket.
Out of operations.
Instead of pulling it out of the loan and putting it in the loan amount.
So we didn't actually end up borrowing as much as we could have.
No.
Okay.
But we got most of it.
That's a
not all
pretty
of
conservative approach.
Yeah.
I noticed something fiscally conservative about this whole deal. Right?
Yeah. And it was just, it started rolling, and then once it got rolling, it was just,
Yeah.
raising
it.
the rents.
Self-sustaining at that point.
It's kind of addictive like chips.
Yeah. And then when you can take the rents from 700 to 1100 and from
Yeah,
500
we were pushing
to
up close to
900.
1,200 a door by the time we got out,
Yeah.
and they were at like 680 to 700 when we.
Give him a
bought
hand.
Yeah.
This is great. Great deal. Wait, Gino has a question up here in the front.
Do y'all have any foundation or AC issues?
The question, do you have any AC issues or foundation issues?
Yes and no. No foundation issues.
No.
No.
Actually, it was a very solid building. That's one of the things we really liked about it. Just really, really good bones. I mean, it had a little bit of movement over the years, but you think about it, a '69 build,
Yeah, it's kind
and
of.
you got just very, very minimal shift at all. So
And
that
this
was
is a
really
mistake
great.
a lot of new people make. You bring in a foundation expert and they go, oh, you need $10 million worth of work. But you can bring an engineer in and say, hey, it's not moving
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
few $100s. So that's where mentoring comes in.
Our foundation guys are great. They're going to
Yep.
tell
Yeah.
you straight up what it really needs and what it doesn't.
Exactly.
And the AC was the other thing you asked about. And yeah, I mean, we actually had some older units there. And when we first looked at it, the inspector said, oh, you should buy all new units. So they were just trying to sell us stuff, right?
Right.
And then we had our AC guy that I used on my single families. He came and looked at it. He's like, these things have easily got 5 or 6 years of life left in it. So we're like, we'll just leave that alone for now. And
And you're an AC
they
guy.
worked out
So
great.
the old R22 stuff is better than the 410A. And now we have the new one. So
Plus, we took the time to do a preventive maintenance all
Yeah.
the time on those systems. So every year we would have
yeah, we
somebody
get them
come
all
through
tuned
and
up.
tuned up, cleaned
Yeah.
up, charged up, everything done. So the more we could prevent up front, the better. And then I think we ended up replacing one inside unit,
Yeah,
a couple
just-
of drain lines. Very,
yeah,
very,
very
minimal.
minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keeping a preventive maintenance program on a property will save you so much money.
Carl, did you have a question back there online?
Yes.
Voice of God.
Yes. Given the state of the market, are you at all nervous about any of the larger deals you are involved in?
So you're asking about the passive deals that we're in. Are we nervous? I think from my perspective, the deals that I'm in, I feel like they've got a very strong cash position. So I think they're very well insulated from, what's going on at the moment. I mean, I think everyone's kind of waiting around to see if rates are going to back off, and hopefully they will. But I think that's the key to it. The people that are in a strong cash position are in good shape. So I'm not particularly concerned about
And
any of mine.
remember, guys, especially because I know there's a lot of investors in the room, and people are nervous about what's going on. So what did Dell do to make everybody feel more calm? What's going to happen on the 30th of this month? He's going to go through all the numbers and everything and break it all down so you can understand how it's actually an opportunity for us. Because when everybody's scared, what does that mean? Scared money don't make money. Do you realize that? It's an area of opportunity. How did I make all my money? Well, everybody else was scared. I kept buying, making 200-300% returns. So to me, there's a lot of opportunity coming in. I can't share all that with you tonight. I really want to, and I'd go delve deeper into this, but Dell will definitely be going over that the 30th of the month, and I will bring up some of it. There's a whole speech behind it that Dell shared last week, and I'm going to repeat it Sunday in my seminar. So.
I'm not worried either, because I think, when I invest in my properties, I pick a certain size of property that I want to invest in, and I have a sweet spot. Mm-hmm. So I tend to stay within that risk level that I'm comfortable with. And they're all producing really well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So to me, this is a great time to invest. And
I
we're
think there's
continuing
another
to
question over
invest.
there. So right there.
Yes.
You. Well,
Talk loud.
Yes.
On your 1031, how hard was it to identify a property within 45 days?
Okay, so I'm going to repeat what she says. On a 1031, typically this is what happens. Upon the sale of your property, you get what's called a qualified intermediary, like Luann Blau from 1031 ERG, for example. You have 45 days to target other properties. Of the properties you target, you then must close on one of them within 180 days. So her question was, how hard was it to find another property within that 45 days?
So
That you both would agree on.
I would say it was a little bit more complicated because we're going after a multifamily property, and
Right.
single families. There's a lot
Dime
more
a
out
dozen,
there,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I think it actually worked pretty well for us. I knew I was coming up to doing a 1031. That's what my plan was, my exit strategy from that property. So I'd already be kind of really thinking about, what am I going to do here? And I'd been making inquiries. So really, at the time that single family property sold, I already had a line on this deal. So it actually it came together pretty well, and I was well within the 45-day identification.
But they're also, I
period.
think she's talking about from this property to
Yeah.
the next property. You guys already identified one, right?
Okay, yeah.
He's
Yes.
had some sleepless nights.
Yeah. I'm not going to say
Me,
it's been easy.
I'm not sweating it. I got a smart guy standing here, so.
But, going out of this one into the
Yeah.
next one. Okay, yeah. I do actually have, we're coming up on our identification deadline here.
Saturday?
On Saturday. And
No pressure, Phil.
I do have three properties ready to identify.
And guys-
But one of them could change at the last minute. But,
Right.
yeah.
Worst case scenario, what happens if you can't 1031 exchange? You pay the taxes. What's capital gains rate, guys?
15%. in the long
15%.
term, typically.
Would it kill you to pay for the poor people once in a while? Yes, but that's okay. That's why we have 1031 exchanges.
We really don't want to pay taxes.
Right. But,
Right.
I
and
want my
that's,
children to be burdened with
Yeah.
them, not me.
there you go.
That's
Agreed.
Right. That's right.
Anybody else, Carl? We good?
Yes. Can you defer taxes as a passive investor, or must you be an IRO?
So that's like a loaded question because, I can't answer that because it depends what you're going into or what you're doing or what not. If there's a 1031 exchange, for example, a lead investor goes into another deal, the entity must remain whole and everybody has a 1031 as well, if you're talking about 1031s. If you're
55%.
talking about deferred taxes, meaning passive losses against the next deal or whatnot, The answer is depends, because I don't know your situation. Are you a real estate professional? You're not. There's a lot more to it than that. Come to this seminar, and then I can answer that, because I have to know more information.
Yes.
If the property that you've identified in 45 days, if you don't close on that in 180, if you close on another property, do you still do a 1031?
So
Go ahead.
So the question is, you identify, let's say, 3 properties. If you close on a different property, not an identified property, can you count that as your 1031?
No, it's game over.
Then no.
Yeah, it has to be
It
one of the
must
ones
be
you
one of the
identified.
identified properties.
Yeah.
And you know what's cool if you come to my seminar this weekend? After the seminar is over, Dell sends out a questionnaire to everybody. And if you answer the questionnaire, Dave is a wonderful teacher. He's the greatest teacher ever. And you send back those exact words, he will send you a video on 1031s. It's about an hour and a half long. And it'll go through every single aspect of it. You can 1031 the craziest things, in the airplanes, all kind of stuff. So
Land.
yeah, there's
Well,
lots of ways. Yeah.
But, talk to the folks at ERG,
Yep.
because Luann has been a godsend.
She
for
helped you
us.
guys
Oh,
too?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Luann's been with me from day one on my 1031 journey. I'm going into my 4th or 5th
Yeah.
one now.
She did
So,
3 at the same time with reverse exchanges for me.
Yeah, there you go. That's even more fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Mac Daddy of it.
But it's worth it.
Yes.
It's worth it all
Yeah,
going through
it's
it
a great strategy.
to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for you guys.
Thanks. We
You
are
know,
too.
it's cool because now you're on. When I first meet you guys, now you went from this to this to this. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
And we're looking out of state. So,
yeah. Nice.
yeah.
All right. Do we all have a lot of fun? Oh wait, there's probably more slides. I'm kind of bad at this.
Well, we're just having such a good time.
I know. How to increase NOI? You kind of went through this, right?
Yeah. Renovated.
Yeah, just all
Renovate it.
Light it up like a
fixed
runway.
all the stuff that was wrong.
There you go.
Yeah. That's what Alex told
Oh,
us.
let's do real quick. What do you guys want to do next? What's your goals? Big whys. Anything?
go first.
You have all kind of kids and stuff.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I think for most of us, it's about our families, right? I mean, we want to be able to build up a great legacy for them. I actually, as a little side note, I took my son, who was at the time 6 years old, and I said, hey, do you want to invest in this deal? And so I set it up just kind of like a regular passive deal for him. I said, if you put $100 into this property, I'm going to give you a return. So I gave him a really spectacular return. I gave him $1 of income per unit per month. But I did it in quarterly distributions, just like we are used to seeing as passives, just to, I don't know, indoctrinate him basically and give him the mindset of an investor. But of course, the longer term thing is it's all about our family and providing a great future for them and just being able to live a better life.
This has really been wonderful for me because my husband's got laid off from his job 5 or 6 years ago. I have no idea. And he never has to work another day in his life.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to. I may send him to work. I'm not real sure. But it's afforded that. It's afforded me the ability to do things for my kids, paying off my daughter's student loans.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Helping my son with a house. Long term, it's just going to be retirement, probably about 10 years when I get tired of doing this or they kick me out, whichever comes first. But it's knowing that I can not have a job and I'm okay.
Yep.
And
Cool.
that's what gives us the fun of enjoying what we do because we don't have to do
Oh,
this.
did Sadie help you on this deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadie's
Sure
one of
did.
our lifestyle realtors, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked to Alex and JB as our mentors.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
didn't do this without mentors. I don't care how much you think you know. There's a lot that you don't know, so we talk to people who do know.
Okay, cool. All right, let's give them a hand.